All right, hey now, it's the Rob from 1061.
Rob, wait.
What?
This is post to post. We got to do something big, something out there.
What were you thinking?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Town Square Media and 1061 KISS FM proudly bring to you your podcast champions of the world. He's the R to the O to the B. I'm STEVE. We are your hosts with the most, bringing you everything wrestling related from post to post.
Now look at us back in the old studio. It feels like home, Steve.
Yeah, feels good to be back.
Fits like a glove.
Yes.
All right, man. Welcome to our post Wrestlemania 32 video. Let's jump right into it because I'm assuming we've got a whole lot to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Steve, what did you think of the show last night?
I know we're going to break it down match by match. Let me summarize it, in my opinion, by this: a couple of good matches, one awe moment, and a few surprises were overshadowed by lack of pageantry, bad choices, and poor time management.
Okay, well, certainly poor time management, I agree. It feels like that was WrestleMania 32 and WrestleMania 33. It was way too long.
Oh my goodness.
Way too long. If I had to give it a grade, I would give it maybe a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6 out of 10 somewhere.
Oh, you're being generous.
I think it's 6.5 out of 10. Okay, let me throw one thing at you before, because I've seen a lot of people ripping the show.
Okay.
And I don't think it was a terrible show. Do you think it was a terrible show?
It wasn't good.
Okay. I would say it was the second or third best WrestleMania of the past 10 years.
Oh, really? Wow.
Because I only really 30 and maybe 31 I thought were better than it. All the ones, now I'm only talking about the last 10 years, so I'm only talking about like after WrestleMania 23.
Okay.
So really, I think it was better than I feel like all those shows from 23 to 29 were just garbage. But okay, that would give it like a 6.5 out of 10 personally, but that's just me. Let's start at the top. I believe, by the way, am I drinking from the Too Cool Cup of Awesomeness today?
I didn't know if you wanted to start off with that. I'm giving the cup back to Rob after WrestleMania.
Well, I believe you had it at... Royal Rumble was the last one we did predictions for, and you had it after that, and I believe I cleaned up on this one. So I'm happy to be sipping from the Too Cool Cup of Awesomeness.
And one more bit of business.
I do accept the $1 from the side bet. I did read an article saying that they thought that that the match was going to go last, the Hell in the Cell match, but I was just like, I can't. It just can't. So
I just want to say WWE has a lot of balls thinking that the crowd's going to cheer for Roman Reigns after victory.
I'm sure at some point in time you'll have an opportunity to win this back with another side bet, but thank you for not making me come hunt you down, Steve.
No, not at all.
Okay, let's go through the pre-show real quickly. I started off on the right foot, Kalisto and Ryback. I said Kalisto, you said Ryback. Kalisto retained. I thought it was a solid match that got buried in the pre-show.
Yes.
Let's go through the pre-show real quick. The 10 Divas tag match, I felt like it was nothing. Barely worth talking about.
Yeah, basically a send-off for Brie. I don't know if she's officially retiring soon.
I think tonight's the night.
That's what it felt like.
So that was what it was. We both said Total Divas on that one, I think. And the Dudleys and Usos, another really quick match that meant very, very little. So that was that. I was happy to see the Andre Battle Royal move to the main show. So also in the future, WWE don't need a 2-hour pre-show.
No,
I don't need a 7-hour pay-per-view. I do have a life outside of wrestling. It might not be a great one, but I do have one. And I just don't want to be 7 hours of the pay-per-view, especially when 2 hours you make them feel like it don't matter.
One high mark of the pre-show was the announcement and unveiling of the Women's Championship.
I hate the word divas. I was so like, it makes me feel like Mariah Carey's champion.
Yeah.
Or like Aretha Franklin or something. When I think of divas, I think of like, soul singers.
Yeah.
I just don't want to think of wrestlers as divas, and especially like what a match to debut it in, because like I feel like the girls in the 10 diva tag match were 10 divas, but the girls in the wrestling match later that night were wrestlers. So we'll get to that in a second.
All right.
All right, we'll start at the top. The ladder match. I'll be honest with you. This was my favorite match of the entire night.
Okay.
Agree, disagree?
I disagree, but we'll get into that.
Okay, sure. I thought that Sami Zayn stole the show personally.
Okay.
I loved his. I thought that his spot through the ladder was beautiful, right into his turnbuckle DDT.
Yes.
Loved that. Sin Cara would be runner-up to me. He had some great spots. where he jumped off the ropes after being thrown off the ladder into the group of guys.
That was a great spot.
Onto Cody Rhodes took a big bump from Sin Cara. That always looks so painful to me when they land like foot first onto people's bodies. Good God, that looks painful. Big surprise with Zack Ryder. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
No, and I'm not disappointed in any way. That was a huge surprise.
It wasn't bad. I don't think he's going to have a lengthy or memorable title run.
Yeah.
But that was a fine surprise, and kind of got the night started with surprises. Seemed to be the theme of the show. But my favorite match of the night, I thought it was a true highlight.
Okay.
After that, AJ Styles and Y2J. I would say they did a fine job. It wasn't a bad match, but I kind of wanted more, I guess.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't feel like it was their best match they've had.
That might be true. I guess I didn't watch it, kind of watching for that. I was just expecting something big to happen.
Yeah.
It didn't. Really surprised AJ didn't win also.
Oh my God, yeah. First bad choice of the night.
Yeah, so there was that. If I'm going too fast, Steve, let me know, because I'm trying. Okay, because after that, New Day, they did have that memorable entrance I was talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like that the big box of cereal with the actual inflated Honey I Shrunk the Kids cereal. I thought that was a nice touch. The match wound up just kind of being fodder for the 3 stars, Austin, Michaels, and Foley coming back. That's obviously why the match was changed to a non-title match too. It seems like. What do you think of that? What do you think of anything you want to talk about with this match?
I always enjoy the surprises of the good, the strong guys coming back, but I didn't like the idea of them taking a tag team title champions and making fodder. It kind of disrespected that championship in my eyes.
I guess maybe I'm the weird one that doesn't get excited when they come back and it's just for a minute and it's not going to last long. And I mean, I'm always happy to see those guys, especially Shawn when he doesn't talk. I feel like his post-wrestling career, when he talks, it's just kind of cringe-inducing. Yeah. I love those guys. I don't want to be a grump or anything or come off like some sort of wrestling Grinch. But I don't get I don't get as excited as everybody else does when that stuff happens. So that's what I thought about that. Not bad, but again, it just doesn't speak to me the way it does to everybody else. Lesnar and Dean Ambrose followed after that. And if I could sum that up here, I'll give you 2 words. The first word would be flat. I just feel like everything fell flat, and I was disappointed, to be honest with you. Maybe I had big expectations for it. Yeah. We had talked about that having the potential to be the match of the night. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, it was not.
In my opinion, I felt like while there was an emphasis on weapons, like a kendo stick, over. I kind of wanted more from, I guess, the weapons. Maybe I'm not a weapons queen or anything like that, or I don't know if there's a term for someone who gets turned on when they see the weapons, but really, I didn't think it was the right match.
Yeah, and when you hype weapons like that, you have to deliver. And like you, I expected so much more out of the match, and it was a good match. It wasn't a great match. And I'm really surprised there was no interference, and it just kind of ended.
Yeah, and the ending was so flat.
Yes.
It just no one knew it was coming. No one knew what to make of it, and I didn't like the ending especially. But again, it wasn't a bad match. I just had big expectations for it that I thought just wasn't written right. And Dean was using the right weapons for the right amount of time. He had a weapon in his hand most of the time. Yeah. It just wasn't the right weapons. I feel like it was just the traditional stuff. After that, the women defended the women's title, or Charlotte did. Surprised that she retained, but I thought they had, in my opinion, the best women's wrestling match in the history of WWE. It was my second favorite match of the night, almost my favorite. I thought they did a stupendous job. I was thrilled beyond belief with how well they did.
I don't know if I'd say best match of all time, but a strong match, definitely for the women's.
Can you think of a better women's match in WWE history?
I can think of 2. The Lita Trish cage match and also the Trish Victoria hardcore match. Okay. Both excellent matches that I still remember to this day.
We mentioned both of those last night at my Wrestlemania party when we were watching it. The one where they main evented Raw, I thought was actually their best match, Lita and Trish. Yeah. But I thought the match last night was better. Okay. So, in my opinion, the best women's match of all time. Would you say the best women's match in the history of WrestleMania?
Oh, easily.
Okay,
yes.
I would agree with that, obviously, too. So I can't give them enough credit, and like Steve mentioned at the top of the show, so glad they decided to ditch the word divas with regards to that belt. It's about time that it gets taken a bit more seriously. Not that... I guess the word diva, if they are wrestlers, is kind of offensive, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it should be.
So, am I going too fast? We're doing all right?
Good. I'm right there with you.
The Hell in the Cell was next.
Yeah. This is my match of the night.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I disagree with that.
Okay.
Here's what I took from it. It was a whole lot of nothing for a long time. The bump. So, we knew something like that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was gorgeous. Yes, I did see a cushion, but at least it was well hidden. And it didn't take away from that spot. Obviously, you're going to have to secure that fall. That was a big drop. I liked the match. I didn't love it. I just thought it was really boring up until the spot. Go ahead.
I agree it had a slow start. I mean, but once the build, I mean, I really got into it. I got invested. And, I mean, you're thinking of a 46 and a 52-year-old going at it, and I don't expect a lot from The Undertaker, but I mean, he carried himself in this match, and I mean, aside from the big bump, I mean, I thought it was a strong match, and probably the most entertained I was all night last night.
One thing I didn't like was Shane using the bolt cutters, I guess. Well, okay, combined with the spear through the cage, I thought it looked weak. That didn't look painful except for the poor German commentator who took it in the face. I don't know if you caught that or not.
I did not.
But yeah, watch that back. The cage fell right on the commentator's face. But like they made it seem like that was a brutal spot. That hurt less than a typical bump on the ring, I feel like.
Yeah,
I didn't like the way they sold that.
What I liked was the ensuing bouncing Shane off of the cage once it was down. I enjoyed that. That seemed kind of out there for me.
It all just seemed like a whole lot of ado to get to the one spot on the top of the cell. At least that was a true WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
I don't want to come off like I hate the match, but I didn't like a lot of it.
Okay. I do want to say one thing to the fans. You need to come up with a different chant because this is awesome, can work for a fall off the cage, but it doesn't really work for when somebody's bolt cutting the fence open. That's not really awesome. That's just a prelude to something that could be awesome.
Pick your chance.
Yes,
That's a fair assessment. The Andre Battle Royal, I see a lot of people tearing this apart. I liked it.
I did too.
I thought that including people like Shaq unannounced was kind of fun.
Yes.
Seeing people like Tatanka was fun. I didn't even realize Baron Corbin was in the thing until like the last 2 minutes.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, I must have missed it. Did they announce it or anything? Like,
no, I mean he came out. I mean, but he's he pretty much stands out in the crowd. So
yeah, I just didn't. I guess I was too busy looking at Shaq and Tatanka or whatever, or watching my guy Mark Henry, who I still thought had a chance.
My guy wasn't even in.
Who did you say?
Braun Strowman. Because all the rumors. I bought into the rumors, and he wasn't even there.
So I thought that was fun for what it was, and I think that choosing Baron Corbin was a good choice to win because now we've got an upstart. Now we've got a guy who's got something to go on Raw
but
tonight.
NXT guy that just won a WWE match. Deal with that.
Boy, and did you watch the NXT pay-per-view?
I did not. I'm going to. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. I really want to get your thoughts on something. We'll save it for the next episode because this episode is going to go plenty long. And tomorrow's probably will too because the Raw after WrestleMania is always a good time.
No.
But let's keep going here. I'm trying to keep this fast. There after the Andre Battle Royal, there was The Rock and the Wyatts and Cena. Actually, this is a segment I usually would not like. But it kind of was fast moving. They announced that insane the insane attendance record.
Yeah.
That was impressive. Rock, I thought, kind of kept it fast moving. The Wyatt thing, I'm really tired of them burying the Wyatts.
Yeah.
This is going so poorly, and it's all your fault, writers. Like it's all your fault. Like I don't know. At least it was Eric Rowan doing the job in 6 seconds as opposed to like Bray. But like you had something there. Like you could have made money off this. But and Cena coming out to make the save was a little anticlimactic to me, but it was nice to see him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ready to return or not, but maybe we'll know more about that tonight. What'd you take from that?
At that point in the evening, I was becoming uninvested. That happened at like the 10 o'clock mark. and I was ready for the show to wrap up.
Yeah, that was another thing. I was really looking at my watch like, this is going to go all night. Like, this is not done. I also want to mention I absolutely loathe the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. I really, to hell with them.
Sorry, Thomas.
Well, I mean, I had a chance to meet them one time, and I found them to be unmerciless.
Wow.
I didn't want to be in the same room as them.
Okay.
And I mean, that's just my experience with them.
All right.
So I won't go into detail on that one. And then came the main event.
Yep.
It was 10:30 by the time the thing got started. I was so like, okay, if you're gonna get like, if we need to commit all day to the show, you need to tell us. We all thought the show was going to end at 10 our time, 11 Eastern. That holding over till midnight without telling us. Right? I mean, we didn't know that, did we?
No, I had no clue.
Yeah, and not only that, like, you give us the tour, that was just too much. Yeah. It was too much, and that did not do Roman Reigns any favors. No. Not only that, there was another thing that I really thought was a bad move. Giving Triple H the grand entrance, followed by Roman Reigns with a normal entrance, really showed just what Reigns is lacking.
Well, I just think that's WWE. I mean, that's why I said the lack of pageantry. There were only 2 big entrances all night long, and it's WrestleMania.
Who was the second one, Shane?
No, the New Day.
Oh, yeah,
the
New
Bucks
Day.
I mean, that's it. Everybody else, I'm just going to walk out to the ring. It's Monday night.
But like when Roman Reigns has kind of been accused of being boring and a little flat, which is something I certainly think, having him do a normal entrance right after Triple H's grand entrance really just rubbed it in our faces. Roman Reigns was not over with the WrestleMania crowd, and it just felt wrong. I don't know. I know
you tie that Samoan to a zip line and you fly his ass to the ring.
you do what you do what you have to do. Exactly. What do you think? I know you're more of a Roman Reigns guy than me. What do you think of the main event?
As late as it was a strong match. Probably won't be contender for match of the night, but it was a strong match. It kept me entertained, and I mean, it was a good close to the show.
Roman Reigns, I think, has an uphill battle. I'm still not convinced.
He
does. He's not a champion to me. He's not a champion to a lot of the audience. I know he's a champion to you. I respect your decision. In fact, I'm kind of glad we disagree on it.
Yeah.
But he's still got an uphill battle.
He does. I mean, I admit that.
And you want to know one thing? The most over babyface on the roster right now is Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose should have been in that title match last night. So that's what we have for you.
I do want. I'm sorry. I want to mention one other bad choice is no Vince McMahon at all.
Conspicuous by his absence. I agree. Should have been there. I thought there was going to be a Flow Rider performance. I'm glad they cut it. It didn't need it last night. Where was Vince? I don't know the answer to that. It seemed conspicuous by his absence.
Just another hole in the story.
This is, that goes down as one of my least favorite angles of all time. What a mess that whole thing was. And you had all these exciting stipulations attached to the fact if Shane wins, this happens, this happens, this happens. Yeah. None of it materialized. But it is the Raw after WrestleMania tonight. That is always a good time. Yes. We've certainly gone long enough today. So for myself, the Rob, and my tag team partner, Steve.
If you're thinking about watching WrestleMania again, run.